Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan here on this Friday morning edition of Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood joining us. They're getting ready for the big weekend. All the tailgate needs go over to Tremonti's. Of course, I'm in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Go to lasportshall.com. We have a golf tournament November 17th, 18th in Baton Rouge. The 18th at U Club. That's a Monday, 10 a.m. tee time. It's a celebrity golf tournament. The night before, we have a big party from 6 to 9 at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Inside LeBear's, you get to meet all the celebrities. We're going to have a silent live auction. We're going to have a $25,000 putting contest. Great food and drink, etc. Get to hear from a bunch of the Hall of Famers as well with a good Q&A session. That's all going to be on the 17th from 6 to 9 at LeBear's at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. You can get a ticket just for that. Or you can, all the golfers, all the teams, you get multiple tickets in your packages for the party and then the golf on the 18th. So go to lasportshall.com, check it all out. And then, of course, we're presented by LeBear's Casino. And big news coming up at LeBear's Casino in March. There's going to be a big MMA fight. We'll tell you about. It's getting all the details are getting worked out right now. Dustin Poirier will be in the house for that one, the MMA great, UFC great. All right, so I was in the Dome last night, Tommy. Saints lose. Wasn't just that they lost. They lost to what I believe is one of the worst 4-3 NFL teams ever in the Denver Broncos. You talk about fool's gold. I give Sean Payton credit. They're 4-3. You are what your record says you are, right? The old saying. But in the history of 4-3 teams, this one's rough. But a rookie quarterback, they're above 500. You got 10 games left to go. And so kudos to them. They dominated the Saints in the Saints building on Drew Brees night. Now, doesn't hurt my feelings that they dominated Drew Brees on Brees night. By the way, a little caveat to that. Drew Brees and Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame last summer didn't show up for it. For happened, it didn't work. That it wasn't working or sick. Went on vacation with the family. The location of the vacation changed 6 months. But anyway, the chat, Tommy, mute your phone. Real loud.
You're going in and out, Ronnie, if you can.
Okay, I'm cutting in and out?
Yes, pretty bad.
All right, I'll jump off and jump back on.
Yeah, do that. I'll remind people, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Get lunch today, load up for the weekend. You deer hunters, they can do deer processing and game processing here. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Check out Tremonti's for all you need for the weekend, all you need for everything with your deer processing for you deer hunters. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge.
All right, are we any better right now?
Yeah, much better. Go ahead. Go back to the Breeze thing.
So Drew, yesterday yesterday at the if you've been to a Saints game, they do the 50-50 raffle. Okay, they do a 50-50 raffle, and they donate 50% of the proceeds to charity. And obviously, with a Saints game, the number is pretty big. I mean, the half the pot is 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. I mean, it's usually the pot is 130,000 plus, right? Last night, the pot was the Breeze Foundation, his Hall of Fame, his personal foundation. I know for a fact that the New Orleans Saints, when they first did the Hall of Fame and announced that they were going to have the Hall of Fame, they told them they wanted to do a weekend. Normally do. You come in on a Friday, you do the luncheon on a Friday. Saturday, there's events. Sunday, you get honored at the game. He said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I want to be in San Diego for the weekend. I want to have family, kids. The only, if you want me to do it this year, I'll do it. You got to do the Thursday game because I want to be able to fly in and fly out after. So he flew in, did his luncheon. Brandon Landry of Walk-Ons, one of his partners with Small Sliders and Walk-Ons, did the introduction, and he spoke. They had a big luncheon at the Hilton River Center, and then he did the game, and his family flew back to San Diego after. Oh, by the way, he made $80,000 for that.
For the foundation.
For the foundation, but I mean, it was,
right. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to pay you to come to get honored and all. I mean, it's just so whatever. I'm over it. Go Archie, go T-Bob. I mean, go Bobby. Go Bobby, A-Man, go Archie. Got the jerseys. Tommy, yesterday in the Dome, it was so gross. I suspect that now that there's no Drew going into the Hall of Fame, there's no Sean Payton return home. There's no, you're 3 and you got a chance if you win to be, 3-4 and get and have a 10-day break. And no, it's over. They're 2-5. They were horrifically. They carried over from the second half Sunday. Where they had the lead at halftime and then played atrocious, particularly in the fourth quarter. They look like they quit. They're decimated now with injuries. Adebo's he's out for the year with a leg injury. Lattimore was getting looked at, a hamstring injury at the end of that game. Like, this team may not win another game, Tommy. May not win another game, which maybe not a bad thing. Maybe you can, maybe they can draft you a quarterback of the future or something, with the first, second pick. But it was embarrassing. And the rest of the season, get your tickets. I mean, just wait. You'll be able to, you'll be going to Raising Cane's, and Todd Graves will be giving you Saints tickets with your combo, your 5-piece combo box. I mean, that's how bad it's going to get. There's going to be nobody in the Dome towards the end of the year.
No, and it shouldn't be. And, I was a proponent earlier in the week that when they lose Thursday night, they need to fire Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis this morning. Now, that's probably not going to happen, and you had a good reason why it shouldn't happen. But, Denver came in the 28th ranked offense in the NFL. 28th. Rushed for 225 yards against the Saints, okay? And you're right, the Saints, the body language was, we don't care, we don't want it. You had to report that the players wanted him fired, which Richard Sherman addressed in the pregame, and then Dennis Allen had to answer a question about it after the game. This is a organization in total turmoil. No credit, disarray, turmoil, dysfunctional, whatever you want to call it. And they got to go play the Chargers a week from Sunday out on the West Coast. But aside from that, I mean, the fans, I know a lot of people went to the game last night. I know you were there, but I know some other people who that was their one game they picked for the year. Large group of people because of the Drew Brees thing, because of the Sean Payton thing, the Thursday night thing. They were so disappointed they weren't sitting in their seats in the fourth quarter. A group of like 15 people because of the performance of the Saints. It's one thing to get beat. It's another thing to get beat the way the Saints got beat in the second half on Sunday and the whole game last night. It's embarrassing for Saints fans. They deserve better, in my opinion. And, Gail Benson's not, she might be 28th best owner in the league because she doesn't know football, doesn't know business. So, you got to clean house. She's not going anywhere, okay? But she's got to clean house, whether that's today or that's come the Black Monday in January. And, between now and whenever, line up who can be a general manager, who can be a head coach, who can do all of these things and start this thing over from scratch. Unlike 25, 30 years ago, you can rebuild an organization in 3 years, maybe 2 years. 3 years, probably the watermark. Get lucky, it's 2 years. 4 years should be the long end of that. You can do that, where 25 years ago, it might have took 8, 9, 10 years to rebuild. So that's where the Saints at. There's no skirting that. That's where it is.
Now, with the salary cap and free agency now, whoever, if they do clean house, it is not going to be a ideal situation. New Orleans Saints are in salary cap hell, and you've got an aging team. The roster's not great. You got injured players. I mean, it's a mess. I mean, it is a mess. The Saints have kicked the can, kicked the issues down the road. To play for the now, play for the now, play for the now. Well, here we are, and they should have done this. When they got rid of Drew, they should have done it right then and there because they had people would have understood, right? I mean, it would have made sense. Okay, Sean Payton's gone, Drew's gone. Let's rebuild. Let's hurt for a year or two to clean house, to go younger, to get the salary cap fixed. But they felt like they still had a chance. We still have enough good players to where we can go for it. And your go for it was Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. That's all you got to say. You thought Dennis Allen and Derek Carr were going to be able to, be the leaders you needed and good enough, and they're just not. They're just not. Dennis Allen hasn't been a good head coach at any point in his whole career, and Derek Carr, minus a couple seasons, hasn't been a really great quarterback at any point. And then and of course now when you suck, the injury bug happens. And also when you suck, those injuries don't heal fast. And those injuries are worse than they usually are because people aren't in a hurry to get back. You know what? I mean, at this point, the Saints have, Tommy, 10 more games. 10. They've only played 7. They've got 10 more games of this crap. I mean, you talk about a locker room or a team or an organization that's just on cruise control that doesn't care. I mean, they don't have the firepower to win, even if they were trying, and they're sure not going to be trying fully, a lot of these cats. It's bad, man. The good news is, hey, let 18 run around and try to play quarterback the last 10 games. Hope he doesn't get hurt with that crappy offensive line. Let him get the experience. Let him throw all the picks, make all the mistakes, learn this year. What does it matter at this point?
Well, I'll draw an analogy to the Chicago White Sox. And I know you and Louis' friend Pete Grapol was the manager. And the way that season unfolded, just they packed it in. They set a record for losses. And now the owner wants to sell the team. And they've begun the clean house. They got rid of Grapol before the end of the season. So it's the same thing. It's just an organization that spiraled downward, out of control, and hit rock bottom. And it happened to the White Sox. It's kind of happened to the Oakland A's. It has happened to other professional franchises across all the leagues, from hockey to the NBA. You can throw them all in. You got cases of this. Unfortunately for Saints fans, the Saints are in that picture right now. This is the movie they're producing right now. Is we are at rock bottom, and no reason to believe with 10 games left. I like the way you said that, 10 games left, that there's any reason to think they can win another football game, even with Carolina somewhere on the schedule, okay, which, they haven't won anything all year, and the Saints beat up on them. What happened to this team for 2 weeks? I know injuries were part. First 2 weeks, they're averaging 45 points a game. Now they're averaging 15 points a game. That's a big difference, okay? Huge difference. That might be unprecedented in the NFL, and I'm sure somebody somewhere could look that stat up, but it's just it's a total disaster. It's a dumpster fire, whatever old analogy you want to use. That's what the Saints are.
Listen, look at the Jets. The second that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, the Jets season was over. Okay. With Aaron Rodgers, the Jets were one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. Okay. Because they had a nice roster and an elite defense. I know that when you lose your quarterback, especially if you think you've got a top 15, 20 quarterback in the league, when you lose your quarterback in the NFL, your season's for the most part usually done, unless you lose them late, to where you've got some wins built up and, you got a pretty good team. It's later in the year. Maybe you can manage that. And look, we've seen the Saints under Drew Brees manage losing Drew for 3 games or 4 games or 5 games. If you've got a good team, you can manage. But when you lose a quarterback for the season, and especially early, like the Jets last year, like the Saints now with Derek Carr, where they've lost him early on and for a number of weeks, it's rare that you have a backup quarterback that can go in there and you don't miss a beat, or there's a little drop off or response. Okay, that's rare. You have to have a really good roster and be fortunate with your quarterback situation. Saints don't have that, right? They don't have a veteran quarterback. They don't have a tried and true quarterback. They don't have a good backup quarterback at this point in their career with Hainer or Rattler. Then you throw the Saints from opening day, no quarterback, no Taysom Hill, which was a fullback, tight end, whatever, receiver, top two receivers, two offensive linemen. I mean, like the Saints over half their starting lineup opening day on offense are not healthy, not able to play, and some out for the year. So you've got that, and then when you had the situation where you had missing a couple, and you were right in those games, in games 3, 4, and 5, you had just enough injuries on defense to make a difference. And then Adebo got to be one of the most penalized defensive player in the league. Um, and look, the Broncos last night, Tommy, rushed for over 200 yards with Bo Nix at quarterback. Now, Sean Payton loves Bo Nix. Sean Payton talked about Bo Nix all offseason, even before he drafted him, because he kind of felt like he was probably going to still be there and they were going to take him. Much like Sean loved Patrick Mahomes and tried to get him, and give the Chiefs credit, they moved up to take him with a spot before the Saints would have. But they love Bo Nix, but he's not ready yet. I mean, he's a typical rookie quarterback, some good, a lot of bad. So instead of putting pressure on a rookie quarterback to beat you, we're going to take away the run, and we're going to make Bo Nix beat us on our home field in a short week. Instead, Bo Nix was comfortable because he was able to hand it off, and he didn't have to throw the ball 30 plus times. He was able to hand it off and watch his team, who's not a good offense, who hasn't been running the ball all year.
They were 28th in the league coming in.
Right. Rushed for over 220 yards last night against the Saints. Running the football and rush defense is about attitude, is about, knowing where you're supposed to be, gap assignment, doing your job, being tough, holding your gap, and it's a mindset. The mindset is not there. The Saints have quit. They quit last week in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter against Tampa Bay. It carried over 4 days later, and they are done. Stick a fork in them. They are done.
Well, they can begin to rebuild by trading Kamara to either the Cowboys or the Chiefs. There's rumors about that. Get some draft choices to be part of the rebuild story. I don't care if it's third round pick, fourth round pick, whatever you can get for Kamara. Get that done before the trade deadline, which is not that far away. I want to say November 5th, something like that. It's coming up. And, begin the rebuild. And, Gail Benson's not the hands-on owner, so that's the thing that concerns me. You got to clean house. You can't keep Loomis and the rest of his guys who have done – they got some skins on the wall. They accomplished a lot, but the window closes on everybody and everything in pro sports. It never lasts forever. And we can go back to the Steelers dynasty in the 70s, and then it went away. The 49ers dynasty, then went away. Look at the Patriots now. They're not that far removed from football, okay? And right now the Saints are on the bottom of that roller coaster with no reason to think they can go up unless you totally clean house, start from scratch.
Well, what I'm curious is inside that building, if you're the Saints, you're going to say, oh, man, we've just been decimated with injuries. I mean, look at us. That's why we are. Okay. And I will say this. Yes, you have been decimated with injuries. No question. But because you're in salary cap hell, you don't have the roster. And again, Loomis, you're in charge of the roster, right? And you're in charge of the salary cap. And you've got yourself in this situation. And what is the solution to get out of it? And the only, and I don't know enough. I'm not a salary cap expert. But it seems to me like you don't have many assets that are worth anything to people. And if you do have any assets that are worth anything, they probably have a big sticker to them, because they're, you need to get rid of all the assets you can, strip this thing down, get as many draft picks as you can, get yourself out of owing some contracts that they're going to kill you in the future, unless there's some restructure deal. Unless you can go to Alvin Kamara and do something to restructure some things, which is unlikely because I think Alvin Kamara probably wants out at this point. I mean, you want to go somewhere where you have a chance to win. If you're looking at this team, you don't know what the future brings in free agency and the draft with a quarterback, but you can't be looking at this team thinking the quarterback of the future is on it. And Spencer Rattler, I hate being negative on him because right now this is not the right time to evaluate him. He's playing against first team defenses with second team, third team players.
The deck is stacked against him, no
right.
question.
It's going to be ugly, but I like the idea, Tommy. Let this dude.
He's got to play the next 10 games. Good, bad, ugly. Makes a great drive one day, or throws a winning touchdown, or a tie-in touchdown. Got it. But he's gonna be a rookie. Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year in the NFL. The rest of that ended up pretty good. And I'm not saying that Rattler can do that, but you got to put him out there and find out. Okay. And there's no better way to get better than to get out on that field and learn from mistakes and learn from the good things. And, Dennis Allen made I thought a left-handed statement last night when he said, there's no midseason draft. We got the players we got. Well, we know that. You know that. And you're right. They have been hit with the injury bug, probably a little more than most teams. Okay. Every team's got injury. The Chiefs lost Pacheco. The Cowboys have lost key guys. The Lions lost their best defensive player the other day. Everybody's got injury. The Saints list might be a little longer. But, I mean, you and I have been doing this a long time, and there's no reason to believe that under the current organizational structure, they can get any better.
We always hope and we always talk about when they have an off week and there's that 10-day period or 2-week period or whatever. We always talk about changes. It's the perfect time to fire people, to do this, to make the trades. And usually we're disappointed. We'll see. All right. We'll talk plenty of college football on Friday. Let's talk Major League Baseball. Last night in the MLB, the Yankee Guardians game was so good. Yankees down late, score a bunch and score 3 runs in the 8th to go up 5-3. Then you go to the 4-3, and then you add on 1 in the top of the 9th. Then you go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Guardians, which is so weird for me to say Guardians instead of Indians.
I'm still having tough with that.
The Cleveland Guardians. They hit a 2-run bomb to tie it, and then Fry, the Northwestern State Demon, hits a walk-off 2-run bomb to win it in the 10th. Unbelievable postseason baseball.
Well, you and I are biased to the game of baseball, obviously, and postseason baseball, it's just different. Okay, it's kind of like the NBA when you get to the conference finals and the NBA finals, it's different. Well, postseason baseball is different. Every pitch, every managerial decision, and the plate umpire last night was horrendous. He missed so many calls that it was hard to fathom. Okay, both ways. It's not like he was slant for one team. He just couldn't handle it. These umpires can't track the ball like they're supposed to because balls do so many things now. They're coming in at 100, 101, and it's moved. The Class A from Cleveland throws 101 mile an hour cutter, Ronnie. 101 mile an hour cutter. Okay. Right. These umpires have never seen that. They're used to that 91 mile an hour cutter and the 98 mile an hour fastball. Anyway, postseason baseball, it gets no better. Today, you got a doubleheader, and it's the last day of a possible doubleheader. So, you baseball fans, and I enjoyed the doubleheader yesterday. I saw most of both games, and I'm going to catch a lot of the game today. I got to go out to the most blessed Sacrament Fair tonight, but I'll be paying attention to the game.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Last night, great moments. Dodgers took care.
And Ronnie, did you see the play by the second baseman for Cleveland?
I did not. I wasn't watching a lot of the game. I saw highlights.
I know, but he made a play that could be one of the best defensive plays I ever saw, especially because it was in the end of the game of a tight game in the playoffs. He makes that play on June the 25th. You're going, hey, nice play. But when he made that play last night, it was you got to see it. He went hard to his left and into right field, caught the ball, pirouetted all in one motion, and threw a one-hopper to the first baseman who had to. The first baseman got to jump into foul territory and keep the left foot on the bag and scoop it. So you got to give the first baseman Naylor a lot of credit too. But the play at second, you'll see the highlight. Don't worry, Ronnie. If not, I'm gonna send it to you. it's one of them that you just go, wait a minute, because he doesn't make that play, it's now 7-3 instead of 5-3. It was, and they reviewed it, and the guy, I thought he pulled his foot when the first time I saw it, but in the replay, he kept his toe on the bag until after he had secured the ball. You'll don't worry, you'll see that replay many times.
Unbelievable. How about Fry from Northwestern State? Guy went to high school over in Texas, or from Irving, Texas. I think he went to Grapevine High, and then went to Northwestern State and was a great player. Played against, did he play against LSU in 18? And I think I know LSU played Northwestern State in a regional over in Oregon.
I think Fry was on that team. I think so. I could look that up.
18 over there, and if so, that was his last year at Northwestern State. But yeah, I mean, he's had 2 mammoth home runs. He had the home run in the Detroit series, which saved their season, and then they went on to win the series. He had a pinch hit homer there, and then he had that one last night that saved their season again. I mean, just incredible postseason for him.
He was drafted in 2018, so he would have been on that team in 2018. And I remember first time I heard about him, I remember one weekend in Hammond when they were playing the Lions. He had like some insane weekend, like went 9 for 14 at the plate or something with a couple of dingers or whatever. So that's when I kind of became aware of him. And, he had a big home run in the divisional series. Now he gets a walk-off in the championship series. Dude is making some money for that next contract.
Yeah, I mean, just got called up to the big leagues in 23, made the All-Star game in 4, and making some memorable moments in the post, especially if the Garden series. He will be a legend in that town.
Well, a good friend of yours and mine was posting about him last night, Doug Ireland, a long-time Northwestern State SID, great guy, big Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame guy. Doug was posting a lot of stuff about Fry, the Purple Line, all that stuff. So I enjoyed seeing that from Doug, and he's definitely becoming a legend in Cleveland.
Yeah, not a lot of legendary Northwestern State baseball players, even though they've had good teams over the years, and so he is definitely the man. They are loving in Natchitoches. All right, TK, be back Friday morning. Tell us about Tremonti's before we get out of here.
So don't forget radio tomorrow. We're live at the Most Blessed Sacrament Fair, brought to you by McGlynn, Glisson, and Mouton, attorneys at law. Tell you all about them tomorrow. And, of course, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN in Lafayette, ESPN in Lake Charles. Tomorrow morning, 10 to 12, Derry Beckwith, Hunter McCann, Ronnie Rance, myself, Joel Davis. We want you to check that out for sure. And, of course, Tremonti's. Come get lunch today, a load up for the weekend. Everything you need to drink, eat, cook. You can get it all at Tremonti's. Stop by Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge.
I keep saying Friday morning. I mean Saturday morning. Tomorrow.
Yeah, Saturday morning radio. We're going to be 10 a.m. Be ready. The fair opens at 10 a.m. at Most Blessed Sacrament Church. It's right over there on Jefferson Highway next to Woodlawn High School. You can come on out and join us, have fun. They'll have beer, daiquiris, everything will be going in the morning, and we'll be doing radio.
The thing I'm looking forward to is at noon when our show ends from 10 to noon, Derry Beckwith, and I'll be out there, Hunter McCann, you and I. It's fair food time. I enjoy a little fair food.
They are ready for us. They were talking to me all week about we're gonna take care of you guys. Father Todd's gonna join us like he did last year. Big LSU baseball fan. He's gonna join us at about 11 at the fair, and come on out to the fair. The weather's gonna be beautiful. By the way, Saturday night, Chase Tyler Band playing at the fair. So that's good news. So we'll tell you a little bit about that tomorrow, as well as McGlynn, Glisson, and Mouton attorneys. We'll do all that tomorrow morning. We want you to come on out and say hello, but be sure to listen. Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, and Lafayette.
All right. For Tommy Christan, I'm Ronnie Rance. Please like and share. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and ESPN Lake Charles and Lafayette as well. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a good one.